Let me just tee up this segment here by telling you our phone number, 514-790-0800, because I want to ask you right now, if you're a senior and you are working, I would love to know if you are working as a senior because you want to or because you have to. So if any of you have a thought or two on that and would like to share why you're working as a senior, I'll take those calls at 514-790-0800. On our text line here, I have this note from a listener as I teed up the segment before traffic. Elias, the number of seniors that want to work is very minimal. The seniors that have to work is extremely high. And if we can't understand the landscape as to why this is happening and why people still allow it to happen, well, they continue on there about how this goes with voter intentions and fear-mongering. They go on and on. But I think there's a valid point here as to if seniors are working because they want to or they have to. Now, there's a new report from the Montreal Economic Institute that warns that Canada's current tax and benefit system is penalizing hundreds of thousands of low-income seniors who choose to work. Let's go to Gabriel Giguère, Senior Policy Analyst at the Montreal Economic Institute with more. Gabriel, welcome back to the program.
Hi, Elias.
What's the current tax landscape? How does the government treat seniors right now that, for whatever reason it is, want to or have to work?
Well, as you mentioned, a lot of seniors are going back to work because they don't have any other choice but to do so because of the rising cost of living. And so basically when you are going back to work, even though it could be part-time at minimum wages, because it's the reality for some seniors and we need to be aware of it, well, the government will basically, the participation tax rate for low-income senior will be pretty high because of two things. The first thing is the income tax, obviously, but it's not the main problem when you are working part-time at the minimum wages. What is the real problem with the current tax system is that the clawback of guaranteed income supplement, or the GIS, is quickly entering into effect. And so even though if you're doing $10,000 or $14,000 in a year, after $5,000 of income earned, the government will reduce by 50 cents per dollar you're making. And so that's a real problem because you are disincentivized older folks that need to go to work because they will lose a lot of money from the government. And so we are in a problem where you need to work, but if you're going to work, well, it will be, the state will simply put into effect the clawback, and so the real impact is way less than it should really be.
Sounds to me like there's a couple of things that are bad about this system, because anyone who's on the borderline, that maybe they'd want to work, maybe not, they have to, maybe they don't have to, they're going back and forth on that front, knowing that that they'd lose their GIS, the guaranteed income supplement, or a portion of it, like that may keep people off the labor market. And then you think about, how it could be beneficial if we had more people entering the labor market or staying in the labor market. So what should the government be doing here, Gabriel?
Yes, so if we really want to make sure that senior got enough money, that stop being punished by the state, instead of having a $5,000 exception related to income earning before the clawback of the state, what we need to do is to put to change it from $5,000 to $30,000. So now senior that going back to work can really keep the money in their pockets. And why $30,000? Well, it's basically, Statistic Canada is explaining that it's the line of poverty if you're a single senior living in an urban area, because cost of living, as I was mentioning, is exploding. And if you're a senior at 72, maybe you don't want to go back to work, but you know that you might not be able to do so at 80. And obviously, when you're 80, there's not a lot of seniors that are willing to go back to work, and this is so understandable. And so if you need to go back to work at 66, 67, it's not necessarily, of course, it's not nice to do so, but you know that if you're going back to work and you can keep that money, not being punished by the state, it's a good thing. And the government needs to think about this, because it's not even a measure that is costly. It's minimal. This will have great impact on the economy also, and on the life of the seniors.
Let me, Gabriel, listen, I have Anna on the phone line here, and she works full-time, almost 65. Anna, welcome to the program here. Anna, are you there? Hello, Anna. Do we have you or not? I think I hear Anna. Anna, are you there?
Good morning.
Hi, Anna. How are you?
Could be better. Yourself?
Well, I'd hate to hear that you could be better here, but let me ask you, does it have to do with our subject here? It says here you work full time, you're almost 65. Are you going to have to keep working when you hit 65?
Yes, I have no choice because my rent went up $150 extra per month, and all the other expenses I'm not able to make ends meet. So I really have no choice but to stay on the job market to meet month's end.
Geez. So this is a have to. It's not that you want to work, but you've got no choice because of how expensive things are.
Exactly. Everything's expensive, and now I'm just wondering if this year the rent's not going to be increased another $100, and that's $100 that I don't have and that I have to make up somewhere else.
How much do you work, Anna?
I work 40 hours per week.
40 hours per week. Gotcha. Okay, Anna, listen, stick on the line, Anna. Don't go anywhere yet. I just want to get back to Gabrielle. I wonder, Gabrielle, if you've got a thought or two on people that are in Anna's position.
It's very difficult, and with the current tax system, people like Anna, and there's a lot of Annas across the Canada, basically the clawback and the participation tax can go up to 50% because of the clawback of GIS with the income tax. So basically, people like Anna could live something like an effective taxation that is close to people that are earning $200,000. It's kind of the equivalent because they are losing money from the GIS plus the income tax. So it's very difficult, and we need to make sure that Anna and other Annas across Canada can afford to pay the rent, can afford to pay groceries. And to do so, we really need to make sure that we reform the taxation system so that they can keep hard earning money and not being punished by the state.
Let me ask you, Gabrielle, because in this week we had an announcement from the Liberal government about groceries and essentials, right? And they're going to top up the GST credit. Do measures like that help seniors out? Those who are on those margins?
It can definitely help, but what we really need to do is to make sure it's to have a targeted program. So this program to say low-income seniors, to make sure that they keep the GIS, I think it's targeted, so it's not too costly, and it really helps senior that needs to work to afford the groceries and the rent. So we highly suggest the federal government to look into that measure to make sure that senior can live in dignity, which right now it's pretty difficult because you need to go back to work, but you lose some money from the government. So it's not a winning situation right now, and this could change very quickly.
Gabrielle, listen, I'll have to leave it there with you. I want to thank you so much for coming on. Appreciate it.
It's always a pleasure, Elias.
Gabriel Giguère from the Montreal Economic Institute. Anna, are you still there, by the way? We still have you, Anna? Just one thought, and that is, about your rent and how much it's gone up of late. And I do have some reaction from listeners there on that front. I would try and speak to a tenants' rights advocate. Just make sure that those increases, and I know you're worried about another increase this year, just to make sure the increases are on the up and up and that you're not being dinged with too high of an increase. Okay, Anna?
Okay, and I just wanted to make mention about Mark Carney's help with the groceries.
Yeah.
That's just one handout. It will not help me like Anna's and all the Annas out there, that we need help long term, not just a short term fix.
Well, Anna, that's not lost on me. Huh? Like it's actually a repeated playbook, unfortunately, of this Liberal government, where okay, we're going to give you this top up, we're going to throw money in your pocket, and then they wonder why, a year later, food banks are seeing even more increased demand.
Well,
it's a vicious circle.
The reality of today's people, my age, maybe younger, maybe older, is dealing with always increasing prices everywhere, not being justified anywhere. And meanwhile, we're sinking and we have no anchor to hold on to.
Anna, take care of yourself, okay? Thank you so much. Thanks for adding your voice to the show. Really appreciate that.
You. Bye-bye.
When we return on the Elias Macko Show, we will switch gears and head to Las Vegas. We're going to speak to the CEO of a group of hotels/casinos, and they want Canadians to go back. They are going to tremendous lengths to do so, including at par deals. That story's next.
I'm Dylan Playfair.
And I'm Tyler Smith.
We're putting loneliness in the penalty box by talking to some of our favorite athletes about the importance of friendship.
This is Bromance.
Bromance is brought to you by Charm Diamond Centers, proudly Canadian-owned and operated. Charm has been part of your love stories and bromances for over 50 years. And you can find Bromance on the iHeartRadio network or wherever you get your podcasts.